Retro-inspired gaming in 2023 on a budget. Let's get started. This video is brought to you by PCBWay.com. Are you ready to bring your next retro computer electronics project to life? Then look no further than PCBWay.com. Upload your Gerber file today for an instant quote. And with prices starting from just $5 for 5 PCBs and rapid turnaround, your retro projects can be up and running in next to no time. PCB prototype the easy way with PCBWay.com. Hi, I'm Adam and welcome to my Commodore 64 retro-inspired gaming in 2023 on a budget video. Now, I have a real soft spot for the Commodore 64 in my heart. It's fantastic that more than 40 years after its release date, people are still writing and releasing games for the Commodore 64. Many of these games are low cost or even free. But how can we play them? If you've checked out eBay recently for the price of a Commodore 64 machine, you'll see that they've skyrocketed over the last few years. Now, even if you were to get the C64, so a modern recreation, you're still going to be looking at just over £100. So this is where Vice comes in. Vice is a free Commodore emulator that emulates various 8-bit Commodore machines, and the price being free makes it ideal for a Commodore 64 on a budget in 2023 video. So let's get started with downloading Vice. To download your copy of Vice, head on over to vice-emu.sourceforge.io. You can either click download or scroll down a little bit. Since I'm using Windows, a 64-bit version, I will click here and download Vice 3.7. Okay, so here's the copy that I previously downloaded, so I'll just cancel this. Then you're going to want to head on over to the file you downloaded and extract it. Fantastic. Now it's extracted, we can open the folder and we're presented with a whole bunch of folders and files. Now we don't need to actually install anything. In this case, we just open the bin folder and scroll down until we see this file here, the X64SC. Now you can place a shortcut to this on your desktop or just come and run it from here. If you're presented with this, we can just click on More Info and Run Anyway. And here we have our emulated Commodore 64. Let's maximize this. So let's test this out. And we can run a basic program. If we want to restart the machine, we can just come up to File, Reset, and we can choose between a soft and a hard reset. We have various preferences for the machine, which will be found in Preferences and Settings. Here under Machine, you can choose the model that is being emulated. So currently I'm emulating the Commodore 64C. So the more recent release, the more modern looking case. You can tweak some settings to do with the display in here. So for the emulated CRT, for example, we can play with the scanline shading, for example. We could tweak the brightness or the contrast. I'm just going to reset this though. But more importantly for us, if we want to play a game, what are we going to do about the joystick? So if you have a USB gamepad or a USB joystick, this natively will support that, which is fantastic. If you don't, because we're doing this on a budget, what can we do? If we come down to Input Devices and select Joystick, then over here, most games are using the joystick number 2 on the Commodore 64. So we're going to select from this menu, and you can choose if you want to use the numpad, which I don't have on my keyboard, or a key set, which we can define. So I'm going to select key set B and define key set B here. So now we define the keys that we want to use. So I'm going to define A as up, click on South and define Z. West, I'm going to have comma. East, I'm going to have full stop. And then the fire button, I'm going to go for the space and OK. Then we need to allow the key sets for joysticks or this won't work. Now when we click this button, what will happen now is any of those keys that we've defined won't work in here, so we can't type if I'm pressing my A and Z button. So if we need to use those for typing, we can come back in here and we can deselect the allow key set joysticks. So then how do we load a game in here? So this is really nice and quick. I've already been to itch.io and purchased some games. There's a load of games that have been released in 2023. Some are free, some are paid. They're all quite reasonably priced because, as the title of this video suggests, this is retro gaming in 2023 on a budget. Now, Lester is one of these free games, or name your own price for the author. So let's open this. I've already downloaded and extracted it. Now in here we have a PRG file. PRGs are the programs that would be saved on a floppy disk. To load it, it's nice and simple. All we need to do is drag and drop into the emulator. And then it's going to load this program as if it were on a floppy disk. Now I'm just going to turn down my computer audio a little, since I don't want to record that and the screen capture. Lester, a game by Knife Grinder. Okay, so here we are in our platform game, and I'm using the keyboard to navigate left and right. To go through the door we need to press down, so that's the Z key for me. And here we go. We have a classic retro game, but was released in 2023, and we can play it on a budget on our computer. Right, I'm struggling a little bit here. Okay, here we go. Now, if you want to use a joystick, we can come down to here and we can select configure joystick. And something to note is that the joystick will not be listed here unless it was plugged in when you first loaded Vice. So for me, I'll need to close Vice, plug in my joystick and restart Vice. Okay, now when we click on the joysticks and configure joysticks, we should see our USB joystick listed here. Fantastic. So I'm going to close this. And this time, let's load a Pig Quest. So this is a new game which is available for digital download. CRT file, by the way, is a cartridge file. Again, we can load this by just dragging and dropping. So it's available at the moment as a digital download, but will be available from Protovision as a physical cartridge. With 3 difficulty settings, you'll be sure to find one that suits you. I'm going to start on the easiest, Cute Piglet. This is a classic style platformer where you play as Frank Further. Enemies are dispatched by hurling what appears to be an unlimited supply of cutlasses. The adventure begins upon entering the cave entrance, where you'll immediately find yourself under attack from multiple enemies. Weapons and armour upgrade can be found in the chests, but you'll need a key to unlock them. Am I the chosen one? Chosen? No, you're not. You just found the door to my temple. There must be an adventure to be lived, a quest to be fulfilled, right? There is no quest, my friend, but there's no way back either. So you might as well move on, and call it a quest if you want. And on your way, you could try to find the other 5 pieces of the statue. Over the years, they have been stolen by looters of all kinds. Bring them back to the pig's village and restore joy and happiness. You'll then battle your way through 200 screens across 5 worlds, whilst accompanied by more than 30 SID tunes. The digital download from itch.io costs €9.99, which after conversion with PayPal came out to be around £9, and the download includes a beautifully illustrated 10-page PDF manual and 36 SID tunes in MP3 format. Veggies vs Undead is a Plants vs Zombies clone that was released in February 2023 and can be downloaded for the grand total of £0 and 0 pence from itch.io, so is fully on board with the retro themed gaming in 2023 on a budget. The joystick controls lend themselves exceptionally well to this game, and I found it thoroughly addictive. So much so that I ended up playing almost half an hour for this recording. So here's the rest of my gameplay sped up. Next is Zeta Wing 2 by Sarah Jane Avery, released in 2023, which is the follow-up to Zeta Wing, itself the winner of several awards in 2020. This is a vertical shoot 'em up for the C64 that is priced at just $4.99 US, and available for digital download from itch.io, so it is in keeping with the retro themed gaming whilst on a budget. Your job is to pilot your fighter through 7 challenging stages, taking out the enemy and end stage bosses. Destroy an entire enemy wave to drop a star, and then collect 9 stars to upgrade your weapons. I did cheat a little whilst playing this, and I selected auto fire on my joystick. Let's speed up the rest of my gameplay. Ooze the Escape is a port of the Spectrum version to the Commodore 64. Whilst the Spectrum version was released in 2022, the Commodore version is brand new in 2023. Your job is to help Ooze escape by navigating the maze of corridors and avoiding the obstacles and enemies. And at the risk of offending any Spectrum fans, I do feel that the graphics and sound are far superior on this Commodore version. Ooze is available from, yep, you've guessed it, itch.io. And it is using the name your own price sales format, so starts anywhere from £0 and 0 pence up to how much you'd like to pay the author. So that was just a small collection of some of the games that have been released this year in 2023, and I really hope that you enjoyed them. I'd love to know your feedback on modern games versus old games in the comments below. The most expensive thing in this video was the Speedlink Competition Pro joystick, which came in at $29.99. The most expensive game was just £9, with the majority being free. So even with the sky-high prices of old machines, it is still possible to have retro fun on a budget using an emulator and a USB joystick. So I hope that you enjoyed those games, and if you've already got a retro system, go ahead, download them and give them a play. And if you haven't got an old Commodore 64, then get online and download Vice right now. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. Check out this link for how to build your own Commodore 64 games cartridge, and check out this link for what YouTube thinks you will enjoy the most. Until next time, take care.